Everyone likes to engrave, so we will do that next. Go back to your top view, go to Construct, Curve, from Other Methods, and Text. In the text box, type your name. Gives you a couple of options. First one's linear, and you can see my name appears right there based off the origin. You also have circular and curve. For linear, you can pick your location. You could also type in your, if you know exactly the X and Y location that you would like it to be in. If you reverse it, flips your name upside down. You can set an angle. You could also do vertical text. We're just going to do 0 for the angle. You do have justification, left, center, and right. You have an alignment if you needed to adjust it from here. You could also scale it. The bigger the numbers, the bigger the letters. We're going to use 0.5 for ours. You can set the spacing. Notice how yours stretches out the your whole name. 0 is the default. For circular, you can pick the center of the circle wherever you'd like it to be. You could also set the radius. You also have the angle, which is the starting point on that circle. Remember, 0 is at the X, 90 is up here at the Y, 180 is over here, and 270 would be down at the bottom. Next you have curve, and you can select the curve that you would like it to be moving on. You can automatically space it along the curve if you like also. Of course, you can reverse it to the other side. What we're going to do is we're going to use linear for ours, make sure the spacing gets changed back to 0, and we need to check our font. The font should be Machine Tool Sans Serif. If you use any of the other ones, the machine sometimes has a hard time cutting it, so I would recommend using the Machine Tool Sans Serif. Your font style should be regular, and 72 is the font size. That makes it so you can read it. We're going to apply that and say OK. Now if we rotate our part around, you can see our name is kind of hovering in midair here. That's not going to engrave very well for us, so what we need to do is project that onto the surface. So we're going to go back up to Construct, Curve, from Surface, and project onto Surface. When we do that, we need to select our curve. The surface has already been selected for us. We have a choice of positive or negative. We're going to go down away from us, so that would be negative. And we're going to preview that. And when we preview that, we'll rotate that around. You can see now it's on the bottom of the part. The bottom of the surface, excuse me. That's exactly what we'd like to see, so we're going to say Apply and OK. Now if you rotate your part around, you'll see your name's there twice. Click on the one that's floating in midair, right click, and hide that one. That way it doesn't get confusing for you to figure out which one you need to select. We'll go back to the top view, and we are ready to machine it. Go down to Steps, Features, we're going to Groove. Make sure that we've selected that curve, which is curve 11. It is, I believe, but we'll double check that. Yep. Let's rotate that around a little bit so we can see exactly what it is that we're selecting. Notice how the one that's selected is actually up in the air, and that's not the one we want. So we need to get rid of that, and we need to select these. We're going to add that one. And notice how each individual piece is being selected. You need to make sure you grab the whole thing. You don't want to miss part of your letters. And there we have them all. I'm going to move on to the next one, go back to my top view. We're not going to offset it from the Z location. my width, set your width to about 0.01. That's usually the easiest. We're going to do a simple engrave, and the depth should be no more than 5 thousandths. Say next. You can reverse cut or not, doesn't matter. Notice here when we go to our operations you have an exclamation point. The reason for that is there's no tool that will cut that, so you have to search for one that you want to use. We're going to go up and use a ball cutter, and if I click on diameter, it orders them for me, and the smallest one in this library happens to be an 1/8 inch, so I'm going to use that cutter. I'm going to say next, and I'm going to finish from here. We'll say OK to the properties. I'm going to go to isometric view, and actually I'm going to rotate that down just a little bit so we can see that as it cuts, and we will simulate that. And there's my name, and it follows along the surface, so it'll be equal depth all the way across that.